The lifestyle of billionaires is quite different from other lifestyles, even millionaires. From spending millions on properties to spending your life savings on wristwatches. It's the kind of lifestyle we all dream of living. But before they got here, what did the billionaires' first paycheck look like? And how did they spend it? Come with us as we step into the lives of billionaires, exploring how they spent their first check, starting with, you know who, Elon Musk. Even though Elon is currently not the richest man in the world, his name comes to mind almost immediately after hearing the word billionaire. Well, don't blame yourself. Elon Musk has been a billionaire for a while with a current net worth of $191.1 billion. If there is anything we know about this billionaire, it's how much he works to make more money every single time. But how did he get here? Although Musk came from a rich family, he wouldn't be this rich if he didn't take the steps he took early in life. He had an interest in computers and designing at an early age, and studied physics and business when he was in university. There, in university, Musk and some friends rented out an off-campus house and turned it into a nightclub business. With what Musk made from this business, he didn't think of buying things for himself, but instead, he worked with his brother to found an online business called Zip2. By 1999, the business had grown to a point where they could sell it for millions of dollars, and eventually, it sold for $307 million to Compaq, a once dominant computer manufacturing company. Out of the money, $22 million went to Elon Musk, and it was at this point that he decided to do something for himself. And what did he buy? A $1 million McLaren F1 supercar. After which he then went on to start a banking startup which was merged with another company and ended up being named PayPal. This venture catapulted Musk into another level, earning him a huge fortune of $180 million when eBay acquired PayPal for $1.5 billion in 2002. That was quite impressive. But what's more impressive is the age this next billionaire got his first check and what he did with it. Warren Buffett. You must know Warren Buffett, if not as an investor, maybe as the co-founder, chairman, and CEO of Berkshire Hathaway. As a result of his investment success, Buffett is one of the best-known investors in the world. As of this month, his net worth is estimated at $139 billion, making him the 9th richest person in the world. But before Buffett became a billionaire, he used to be a young lad with an interest in business and investment. No, he wasn't born with this interest. It's all thanks to a book he borrowed from the Omaha Public Library at age 7, titled 1,000 Ways to Make $1,000. This book inspired Buffett to make it big in life, and yes, he did. In the early years of Buffett, he sold chewing gum, Coca-Cola, and weekly magazines door to door. And while he was still in high school, he worked in his grandfather's grocery store, still delivering newspapers, selling golf balls and stamps, and detailing cars, among other means. At just age 11, when Buffett got his first money, he bought 3 shares of City Service Preferred for himself, and 3 for his sister Doris Buffett. Don't kids only think about candies and cookies? Buffett was different by far. He said in an interview with CNBC, "I bought my first stock when I was 11 years old, and it was about 3 months after Pearl Harbor. It was a great time to buy stocks, and I've been buying stocks ever since." In 1944, when he was 14 years old, he then took $35 out of his first income tax return for the use of his bicycle and watch on his paper route. In the same year, he also invested in his father's business and bought a 40-acre farm, worked by a tenant farmer at $1,200 from his savings. By the time he had finished college, Buffett had amassed $9,800 in savings, equivalent to about $125,000 today. Just as he mentioned, he never stopped buying stocks. And today, he is one of the richest people in the world. Seems billionaires have always thought differently all of their lives, because this next billionaire had a dream bigger than a teenager at just 17. Mark Cuban. A seasoned entrepreneur who has been a panelist on Shark Tank since 2011 and is currently a minority owner of the Dallas Mavericks. According to Forbes, Cuban's net worth is estimated at $6.2 billion. While Cuban was able to successfully make and save his first $1 million and later flip it into $1 billion, it all started with a dream. What most people don't know is that Mark Cuban was once a garbage bag salesman who worked his way to the top. All he knew was that when he entered high school, he wanted to learn as much as he could about business business. At age 16, he took night classes at the University of Pittsburgh, but by age 17, he dropped out of high school and went to college full-time. You see, the driving motivation for Cuban wasn't money or the need to make millions. Instead, Cuban said he always thought in terms of time. He wanted to control his destiny and control his own time. He thought of starting a company he named Micro Solutions, and in no time it grew, earning Cuban $6 million after it was sold. $1 million went to the employees, $2 million went to a partner, and $2 million went to him. And what did he do with the check? The one splurge Cuban made with his money was buying a lifetime pass on American Airlines. He traveled around the world and partied with friends, and for the rest of the time, he lived like a student and saved his money. After that, Cuban started buying stocks, and he made a lot of money in the stock market. At a time when he thought the stock would open at $33, he opened at $62.75, and suddenly, Cuban was worth more than $300 million. If the stock price tripled, he would be a billionaire. Cuban, who had started a streaming business with his friend earlier, sold it to Yahoo for stock. Fortunately for him, the stock price tripled, and just like that, Cuban became a billionaire. Is this a sign to put your first check on stocks? This next billionaire spent his money differently. Bill Gates. Although Bill Gates is an old man, you still can't forget his name when talking about the world's richest people. Bill Gates has been on the list of the world's richest person since 1995 and is still recognized as one of the richest people today. Gates became the world's youngest self-made billionaire in history at age 31, holding the title until 2008 when 23-year-old Mark Zuckerberg dethroned him. Presently, Gates ranks 4th on the list of the world's richest people with a gargantuan net worth of $128.8 billion. From his dorm room at Harvard University, a 20-year-old Bill Gates called MITS, the maker of the world's first personal computer. He offered to develop software for the MITS Altair, and MITS eventually bought the software for $3,000 plus royalties. But instead of spending his money unnecessarily, Gates took his first leave of absence from Harvard University 2 years after enrollment to start working on the software venture, which he called Microsoft. In 1978, Microsoft's year-end sales exceeded $1 million. By this time, Gates had already gotten a reputation for being tough but focused. In 1981, Gates bought the rights to the operating system DOS from Seattle Computer Products, modified it, and renamed it MS-DOS. At the time, 26-year-old Bill Gates was already a millionaire. Now, let's talk about the founder of the world's biggest search engine, Larry Page. But hold up. Because Larry Page is not the only founder of Google. He did that with his classmate, Sergey Brin. And you must agree that these two are one hell of a combo. Sergey Brin and Larry Page are among the wealthiest people in the tech world today, with Brin's worth estimated at around $99.6 billion, while Larry is worth $102.8 billion. But you see, the journey into the world of billionaires wasn't as sweet. In the early days of Google, Sergey Brin and Larry Page struggled to raise money. They often asked their professors for cash and hardware, which they needed to run the startup. Soon, one of their professors got interested in them and gave them a $100,000 check. With it, they started to see their dreams come to pass. They were later able to secure good funding for their business from venture capital firms that were interested in their startup tech company. Today, that investment has blown up to create a $1 trillion corporation that the two are looking to sell. You can tell these billionaires spent their first checks to get more checks. Now, what did you do with your first check?